segment is sponsored by Legacy Tax. Tax day has come and gone, and while some people are expecting refunds, others may actually owe the IRS.
And if you owe federal or state taxes, what do you do if you cannot afford to pay them? Here to help us out is Corey Hankerson from Legacy Tax. Welcome back, Corey.
Hello.
Busy season for you, kind
Busy
of
season,
come and
yes.
gone.
This is that time of year.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but people are now coming back saying what, that they can't pay what they owe to
Absolutely.
the IRS?
So this is the time of year that the returns have been filed, and the IRS is just beginning to start to send out notices saying, you know, well, you filed a return with a balance due, now pay it. Right? And so what happens if you can't afford to pay it?
Yeah.
That's the issue.
Okay.
Yeah, what is like the first step there? So there are options for people. So what is kind of that first step that they look at?
So the easiest thing to do is if maybe you just need a little bit more time to come up with the money, you can request an extension. And so you can do that directly on irs.gov, or you can give them a call at 800-829-1040, and they'll give you 6 months or 180 days to come up with the money to pay the balance in full. There's no fee to do that. They'll pretty much give it to you if you ask for it. It's not that big of a deal. But again, it's an extension to pay it in full. So if you can go that route, then that's the easiest way to do it.
Okay. What if 6 months is not enough time for somebody?
Right. So then things start to become a little more complicated, right? If you need more than 6 months, then there are all types of what they call payment plans or installment agreements available for you. The IRS has many different types of installment agreements. Some of them will allow you to simply stretch the balance out over time and pay it off over time. Some of them will allow you to actually pay less than the full amount that you owe, and it all has to do with how much you're going to pay and in what period of time that you're going to pay. On my YouTube channel, I have several videos that really go to it in great detail, talking about the types of installment agreements, the types of payment plans, and the different qualifications for each type. It gets kind of involved, but check out my YouTube channel.
They want to get you money, so they're going to figure out a way to get you money. But what if you can't pay anything?
Now we get even more involved. Right? It becomes a little bit more serious. So if you really can't afford to pay, there's something called the Hardship program, right? So under the Hardship program, also known as currently not collectible. So under that program, currently not collectible, or CNC, you're essentially going to explain to the IRS that you can't afford to pay anything. They're going to look at your documentations to prove it, right? They're not going to just take your word for it. They're going to want bank stubs, pay statements, and all those sort of things to prove that you can't afford to make any payments at all. And if they were to force you to pay by garnishing your wages or levying your bank account, it would cause an undue financial hardship. So when that argument is successful, you go into CNC, or currently not collectible. You don't have to make any payments whatsoever, but here's the catch. It's temporary. It's not a permanent solution to your tax problem, currently not collectible. It's generally only going to be for about 2 years. And then after that 2-year period of time, you go back into a situation where you have to pay, and now there's interest and penalties and all those things that's there. But you get that sort of 2-year reprieve in the case of financial hardship.
Okay. There's like no perfect solution here. Is it true that you could end up settling for even less than what you owe? Is that even a possibility?
So that's the big kahuna, if you will, right? So you hear all these commercials on the radio talking about settlement, settle for less, and all those things. Yeah, it's true. It is a real thing. It does exist if you qualify, and there's always a catch, right? If you qualify. So if you're able to qualify for the program, it's called the offer in compromise. You can potentially settle with the IRS for less than you owe. So let's say you owe $15,000, then you can say, look, IRS, I can't afford to pay $15,000. Here's what I can offer you to settle, the balance that is due. If they approve that, I've seen people settle for and save tens or even hundreds of $1,000s off of what they actually owe. But again, the catch there is if you qualify.
So either way, you're showing good faith that you want to pay and you're not trying to skirt it, but can you help me out kind of thing?
Absolutely. And so what they look at, honestly, they don't even look at whether you want to pay. They look at your ability to pay.
Gotcha.
And your ability to pay drives all of the analysis for all of the various programs that's out there. And the name of the game is convincing them that you don't have the ability to pay.
Yeah.
And
Who
that's the
wants
thing.
to pay the
Who
taxes,
wants
right?
to
That
pay
would be,
I know.
it's a whole different
They're going to get your money one way or another.
are.
But, you know, what's going to work for you. Corey, thank
Yeah,
you. Great
thank you.
advice, as always. And if you owe the IRS or state and would like to see if you qualify for a fresh start, Legacy Tax has an online qualification tool at levyking.com. You just answer a few simple questions and you'll be on your way.
You can also reach Legacy Tax by calling 1-877-538-9546. Again, it's 1-877-538-9546.